Yo, what is up guys? My name is Luke and welcome back to another episode of Techno Minute. Today's video is going to be a bit different because we're going to be talking about why I believe the OnePlus 7 Pro is going to be one of the best selling Android phones of 2019. Alright, so I don't have the phone in hand yet, but the unboxing and review videos will be coming soon in the next week or so just keep this in mind and stay tuned for those videos. This being said, even without the phone, on paper, the OnePlus 7 Pro should be one of the best selling high-end Android phones of 2019 for a few reasons. Now first, the combination of specs and price make this phone really hard to beat. It's got a 6.6-inch AMOLED display, 6GB of RAM, a Snapdragon 855 with an Adreno 640 GPU, an in-display fingerprint sensor, 4000 mAh battery with warp charging, a dual stereo speakers, and USB-C 3.1, all for only $669. Yes, only $669. Those are some crazy high-end specs for a very balanced price point. Now, I haven't tested it, but if the camera proves to be as good as it is spec-wise, then the Pixel line will have a run for its money. Shipping with a 48-megapixel standard camera, a 16-megapixel wide, and an 8-megapixel telephoto, the OnePlus 7 Pro sure gives the consumer a lot of options. Now, of course, all of this really depends on how the device works in the day-to-day, but if the specs are any indication of the phone's everyday performance, then this phone can be placed around the Galaxy S10 or even the Pixel 3 XL in terms of performance. Now, before all of you jump in the comments and tell me about waterproofing and no wireless charging, look, I get it, but it's not the end of the world, and I think most everyday consumers wouldn't really care. My iPhone 8 Plus is waterproof, and yet I don't ever really use it. Of course, it's nice to have, but it's definitely not a necessity. So what's so great about the phone? Well, what really sells it is the price, and honestly, it's refreshing. For what this phone is packing, a base price of $669 seems very reasonable, especially since modern flagships cost upwards of $1,000. Now, the OnePlus 7 Pro really reminds me of the OnePlus One in this category because of this competitive price point. Back in 2014, when most of the phones of that caliber cost around $500 to $600, the OnePlus One came in at only $350, but it packed some comparable specs. This was the change that I was hoping to see. Now, before I go, let me just address those of you who are inevitably going to talk about the Pixel 3a. And before we get too far, let me just say the Pixel 3a and the OnePlus 7 Pro are in completely different categories. One is geared towards a budget handset that will be used by the everyday consumer, whereas the other is a flagship device with a decently affordable price. Don't compare them, they sit in two completely different categories. Alright, I know this video was short, more to come in the next few days. Let me know what you think about the OnePlus 7 Pro in the comments, whether or not you think it's going to sell more or less, but that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Consider supporting the channel by smashing that like button and hitting subscribe. Anything else you'd like me to know, leave it in the comments below, and until next time, peace!